Tell her that I love her so.
Here, so that Richard can see the pitches.
Check your audio.
Yeah.
Where was the memo that I missed on the powder blue color?
I know. We're going to do a group selfie later, and all those with purple or bluish tone get to be in that photo. And
We can take the picture for them.
let me begin it. Well, I think we should get started. We have such an intimate crowd here today. Good morning. My name is Jenny Hanna. I'm the chair of Coalition for Adequate School Housing. This is our monthly update meeting. And I'd like to welcome first-time attendees. Seeing none, we'll move on. We are also broadcasting this as usual, meeting live, so thank you to those that are following us along online. I promise to not eat a cookie while I'm doing my presentation. If you were here in person, you'd get a cookie or a brownie. Is my clicker on? Can't see it close. There we go. Yes on 51. How many people have done early voting? Yeah, what'd you vote for? Did you vote yes? Yeah, what was that number again? Holding this up for the camera. We have these great little business card size handouts for people that you run into in the elevator, that you talk to, neighbors, just so they don't forget the number. I can't tell you the number of times I've talked to folks about this, and they say, oh yeah, that's the teacher one, right? No, that's Prop 55. We have to remember that most people aren't as engaged and involved in the proposition effort as we all are, and we need to constantly educate and remind. So we're in the home stretch. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. It's been a good fight, and we're going to keep fighting, keep working with our campaign. Forgot to bring the slate mailers that they have pinned up in the MWH office, but many of you have received these in the mail. Those are very important. They help with the Yes on 51 message, and most voters take those with them when they do their voting, so those have been really important. And we also have more planned cable television ads to continue, and our social media campaign, which so many people are telling me they see, and it's nice. Those ads are popping up on social media and on internet, things of that nature. So you can follow us on Facebook. It's there on the presentation, and on Twitter @Twitter. Twitter @Vote for Prop 51. So we know what Prop 51 will do. It'll fill the gas tank for our school facilities program. Fund the true unfunded list. Fund eligible modernization projects on the acknowledged list. Fund all eligible new construction projects. Get our school facilities machine going again so that we can move on to more proactive planning and engagement with our school districts. We have a lot of support, broad-based support. I know a few weeks ago we had some disappointing news about editorials, or not, excuse me, editorials, but newspaper positions on our proposition. But that shift away from the negative has happened. I can tell you that we have bipartisan support, which is huge. The Democratic Party, the Republican Party, those are really big support groups that people look up to make their decisions on propositions. We want to always thank our contributors and our Triple Diamond sponsors. I always say these people came in early, they came in big, they knew the importance of this proposition and what it means to the school facilities program for the children of California. Really can't thank them enough. And they return and they do more than just the gift of the dollars, which is huge, but they participate in our fundraising events. Coming up, Cash Maintenance Network is hosting a workshop at the LA County Office of Education this coming Friday. And registration is still open on the Cash website if you're interested. That's Friday, October 28th, LA County Office of Education. And a networking mixer at the Fountainhead Bar in San Jose. I'd like to go just to see that place. That's November 10th, and in San Jose, and more information can be found on the Cash website. These mixers are great. They get us together in a more relaxed atmosphere and help us to network with our membership and others. And then we are going to have a special December workshop, Prop 51 outcome, post-election update in December. And we're going to have more information about this, but this is going to be in lieu of our normal membership meeting. And we'll be talking about, of course, post-election, what we're going to do. More information will be available soon on this. And it'll be a day and a half workshop that we're planning. So as soon as we can, we'll get the dates out so you can make your accommodations for that. School Facilities Leadership Academy. I'm sure we have applications on the desk back there. I know we do on our website. This is a rigorous one-year leadership program, and it's designed to advance our current and future leaders in the organization. Joe went through the program with myself. We cheated off each other's papers. It is an engaging curriculum. It is something where I found, no matter how far in my career that I was, and I was about 14 years into my career, School of Hard Knocks, pretty much self-taught in terms of what I knew. Leadership Academy filled in those gaps for me. For someone starting out in this industry, really critical. I highly encourage you to attend, but others who've been in for a while, there's a great benefit to attending the Leadership Academy. Founded in 2006, we have more than 150 school facilities professionals who have successfully completed the program. So thank you. Deadline is December 18th. If you know someone, tap them on the shoulder. You know, I know our state agency folks know people who could use some help. Tap those folks on the shoulder if you wouldn't mind. It's a good training opportunity for people in our community, and we look forward to beginning that in March. Is that correct? When do we start?
Yeah, March of 2007.
Okay. All right, we all know what this is. Cash Weekly Update email. Don't just delete it. Read it. There's good information in there about Prop 51, other events, other conferences, our educational outreach, and those kinds of things. You know, we had, and it's not in my notes here, but we had a Public Policy Institute update on polling on Prop 51. We did talk about our response to that in the email update, and that was discouraging to some people to hear those numbers that Public Policy Institute came out with as a full yes was 47%. What was between the lines with that polling was that was based upon the straight language out of the ballot, not based upon when someone heard about what Prop 51 was actually going to do. And with that information, we poll exceedingly higher, well over our 50% plus one. So we do have a percentage of folks who are undecided that we're moving with our campaigning, and it's important for you to read these email updates to understand all of the nuances and steps that are being taken along the way. So I encourage you to do that. All right, moving through really quickly, we're going to do our state agency updates. We have Fred Yeager here to give the California Department of Education update. He's looking around like,
I am the update.
You are the update? Yes, you are, sir. Come on up. And here, may I give you maybe
No.
those?
I thought you were handing me the cookie.
No.
Well, good morning. A couple updates. Nothing too new since we presented at the Cash Fall Conference, but just to repeat some of that. We are meeting with the water board staff on the $9.5 million water grant program. So that timeline is on their webpage. They are hoping to come out with guidelines by early next year. This is targeted towards small and impoverished districts. And Jeff and Jenny have volunteered to talk with the water board staff adopting the guidelines to kind of give them a sense of what issues are facing small and impoverished.
What about large and impoverished?
The legislation didn't acknowledge large. And I think they use a designation of 20,000 people in it, and impoverished is on another water program's criteria of 80% of the median household income, which I think is around $50,000 to $60,000 per household. So that's sort of the criteria they're aiming at. Also on our What's New page is the regulation timeline for Department of Pesticide regulation as to the notification of agricultural spraying or application of pesticides near schools. So there will be some procedures coming down around that as to the grower's notification of the school or district on that. So take a look at that. They are also going through a regulatory process where you can comment on that. One final thing before we get to the big news. No. No, I have not changed allegiances to the Indians. So many of you know that Shannon Farrell Hart retired and had been doing items that go to the State Board of Education, bond waivers, property waivers, and qualified zone academy bonds. So the qualified zone academy bonds, Lisa Constancio raised her hand to take that on. So if you have any applications or questions about that, you can give her a call, 916-445-4889. And then the board items for now, they go to our waiver office, but they will eventually end up on my desk, which is not always a good thing for you guys. But I'll be working with, when we train the replacement, that will take that part over. So that's, and we've been seeing, I'd say, an increase in the number of districts asking for a waiver of the bonded indebtedness level, and would anticipate that to gear up after the election, because there's how many local elections, 40 to 60 or something like that?
186 bonds. Yes.
186
K-14 bonds on the ballot.
Oh, K-14, okay, yeah. So, and this is the big news, so our Title V process that we've been adopting on October 4th, we had our first of our stakeholder outreach opportunities at the department. I think a couple of you were there, and maybe a couple online. We will be posting on our webpage the audio and the PowerPoint that went with that, so we're transcribing and doing all that now. So hopefully in the next few days that will be posted. So again, check our What's New page. And we have set up for in January 11th and 12th, 11th in Orange County Office of Education and the 12th in Laco, Los Angeles County Office of Education. They have given us some time where we can do a brief presentation and accept some comments there. So look at when we get our posting of the October 4th session. There's some good background there as to the history of Title V, its design, its purpose, and that's some good listening ahead of these other sessions, so you can get some background on it. And you know, always like to give the homework ahead of class so that you can have frame your questions or your comments with that understanding. And we also have an email address where you can submit Title V questions, concerns, or comments. Title5.cde.ca.gov. And that's something we check daily. So send us your comments, and you know, whatever your thoughts are. And some may be things we'll look at in Title V. Others may not be Title V things, but good ideas we may want to address elsewhere. So I think that's it for the entirety of the state.
Is it?
I don't know. It's DSA. You stay here? Oh, go set it on mine.
You can have my picture. All right, thank you. Thank you, Fred. I look forward to hearing more about the Title V review. We all need to stay engaged in that conversation, obviously, for important reasons. We need to, as practitioners, speak to people who are designing programs around what we do. So next up, we're going to hear updates from Rebecca Cleary and Ian Padilla on legislative and regulatory issues. A lot of them.
Thank you, Jenny. So we are in that weird period where the old legislature has done their work, the governor has considered bills, taken action to sign a veto, and the legislators have all gone home to their districts, thankfully, to wreak havoc there. And we're waiting for the election to take place on November 8th. To elect the new members of the legislature. So we've all been working on Proposition 51, but we've got a big election on other items as well, November 8th. So in the Senate, half of the seats are up for election on November 8th, and then all of the assembly members, they're stuck on that hamster wheel. They all have to run for their seats on November 8th. So the new legislature will come to Sacramento and gavel in on December 5th. And at that point, they will put a number of their policy proposals into bill form and put them across the desk in the legislature. So we'll see a number of bill introductions on that day. Ian and I will be going through them to look for bills with facilities implications. And then they'll immediately recess after that session and go back into their districts for the remainder of December. They'll come back in January for the new 2017-18 session, and they will start to introduce bills with full force in January through February, and we'll be continuing to review those for facilities implications and come back, start the process all over of updating you all on what they're looking to do in the next session. So what we're expecting, we've got some changes afoot in the facilities arena and in the legislature. So there are some changes. Senate Education Committee Chair will be up for grabs. So we don't know who the new chair is in that committee, but that is a committee that looks at all of the school facilities issues. So this will be a big one for us. And we will see who comes forward and is potentially someone who may be a champion for school facilities issues. We don't know. Senator Liu did have that job previously, but she's turned out, so she's moving on. And a new person will need to come forth. On the Assembly side, we are expecting that Assembly Education Chair Patrick O'Donnell will continue in that position, though there's no guarantees. We'll find out after the election. And we also have some changes on the State Allocation Board that we're anticipating. 4 of the members there are members of the legislature who are termed out, and that means that they will no longer be serving after the end of November. So Senator Liu, Hancock, and Huff, and then Assemblymember Bonilla, they're all off the State Allocation Board. They honored them at the last SAB meeting. And those seats will also need to be filled. So on December 5th, when the legislature comes back to swear in for the 17-18 session, we'll also have some folks identified for the State Allocation Board. And the SAB will be meeting that day. Our understanding is that's a consent-only meeting, but some of the new members should be identified by that point and sitting in those seats. So we'll keep you posted on those changes. As far as looking into 2017 and what we can anticipate on school facilities issues and policy priorities in the legislature, certainly there may be some things that we need to look at on implementing Proposition 51 when it's successful. A lot of that could be done in the regulatory arena, but you never know, there could be something that needs to be dealt with statutorily. We're expecting energy to continue to be a very strong theme, especially on the implementation and regulatory side in implementing SB 32, which establishes goals for the reduction of greenhouse gases. And of course, Proposition 39, which I know my colleague Anna will speak to you more about. And I'm expecting to continue to see legislation on accountability, how you use your local dollars, how you use state dollars. In this era of local control, the state is still really interested in making sure that districts are accountable for the funds that they spend, accountable to their local voters. So I think that's a theme we'll continue to see. And with that, I think that's all I've got for you all this month. Are there any questions before I ask my colleague Ian to come up? All right, short and sweet. Thanks.
Thank you, Rebecca, and good morning, everybody. So I thought that was a particularly good update on kind of where we are in the legislative process. I don't think I can add too much to that. So what I'm going to do is focus a little bit on some of the things we're doing in maintenance and operations. Obviously, we are having a workshop down at Laco, as was announced this Friday. We had one on Monday at the Yolo County Office of Education, and one of the kind of the themes of these workshops we're going to do, and we're going to do some more in November and December as well, hopefully in other parts of the state. But that is as part of this CASH committee, the Facilities Inspection Tool Guidebook Update, chaired by Joe Dixon and Alex Parslow. What we're doing as part of that update is we're gathering input from the field. So we're giving a presentation as to some of the issues and how it's being used and how it can be improved. And so it could be a tool that is more updated from a Williams world to an LCAP world. That's kind of what we're looking to do there. So we had a very good session on Monday, and we anticipate the same in Los Angeles. So take a look at the CASH website, and if there's one in your area, we would highly recommend that you attend that. We think we're doing some pretty good work there. This is all what we're trying to do with this whole effort is that during the CASH annual conference in February, we would like to roll out a finished product, an updated CASH Facilities Inspection Guidebook tool that will be updated and much more, we think, relevant. We think the existing one is good. We heard from the field that it continues to be used, but we are looking at the specifics as to how it might be improved. So we think we're on the right track with that. And also, we are in making sure that we include the perspectives of county offices of education. They're key in this whole piece, right? There's what M&O folks have to do, but also there's the county office part, and so it's better to look at this holistically, and that's what we're doing. So in our small executive committee, we have representatives from county offices, and we also anticipate touching bases with the County Office Association and before the final product to make sure that it's working on all ends. So. Also, on the a couple of updates on regulations. The gentleman from CDE mentioned the pesticide regulation effort to establish regulations as to pesticides around schools. I was a little surprised that those regulations are actually out there. We saw, I think Mr. Morales detailed those last week at the fall conference. So CASH is going to get together next week with CASBO and AXA and some of the other large the ABCs of school advocacy, and we're going to see how do we look at a common response to that, make sure that we have an opportunity to meet with the Department of Pesticide Regulations and raise some of the issues of schools. We already have a joint letter that we're going to release on it, and so we are trying to stay on top of that. We know, particularly in some areas of the state, not only the Central Valley, it's going to be a significant issue. The other one was, my favorite, PCBs, right? I won't go too much into that, but a couple of weeks ago, Senator Markley from Massachusetts, who has been doing, I think, a year-long study of these, just released their study, and it's I forgot the subtitle, but it's not necessarily a real warm and fuzzy one, something, a horrific threat that PCBs pose for schools or something like this. My point being that this is continuing to be ratcheted up. And so another one that we have a joint letter on, and also continuing to talk to the EPA to basically ask for more guidelines for that. I did, a couple of days ago, I had a call with the attorney that represented Santa Monica, Malibu on this issue, kind of the one that kind of started it, and we're working on bringing her out to the CASH annual conference to do kind of a case study on this. She kind of knows the most, aside from the legal aspects and all that, what this district is doing now to basically meet what the EPA is looking at. So in lieu of some kind of more specific regulations, we're thinking that she can provide some of that information while there isn't any other information out there. So continuing to work, there's a lot going on with CASH, but these regulatory issues, particularly in the, generally speaking, environmental area, continue to be significant, and you know, we'll be productive, all of them. So, is there any questions about that or anything? Or? All right, just one more pitch for the M&O workshops. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. For the advanced out slide, you guys were doing the state agency update there for a little bit.
All right.
So thanks, Rebecca and Ian. They mentioned this morning that they look at thousands of pieces of legislation. That amazes me. And I asked if they had a search, a keyword or something that they could just, cheat and look at only the ones that apply to what we do. And they really don't do that. They really globally look at the whole picture just in case there's a little nugget in there that we need to be paying attention to. So I feel like we're in really good hands there. So thanks for all your hard work. All right, so next up we have Don Ulrich, our vice chair, and he's going to update about the best ever
Conference. Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Don Ulrich, Clovis Unified, and Vice Chair CASH. I want you to envision waking up on November 9th, okay? And we have a state bond measure passed, and probably 80% of those 140-something, Kathy?
186.
180. So 80% of about 140 districts, if it goes by past election cycles with local bonds, wake up and have not only local resources that are near them, but they also have state resources. So that November 9th day is huge, and I think with the conference coming up in a few short months, we're going to have lots of districts that wake up and say, holy cow, I have some resources now. Is my staff, my school district ready to take advantage of those resources? Which, their local constituents should hopefully expect them to do. So I think the excitement for the CASH conference is probably at unprecedented height, assuming all these things pass. And that's good for us, good for kids, good for education in California. And we're going to be ready for them at the conference. The staff and Greg Golick are doing a great job now that the conference brochure and the activities and kind of, I say, hay's in the barn, we're ready to go. Now it's about marketing that event, making sure everybody knows about it. Finishing up the next-gen space design. LPA Architects, thank you to them for organizing and helping us organize that. We have vendors, contracts, Office Depot, Mohawk, and Mondo are all confirmed as vendors in that space. That space should be an exciting kind of new venture that we've started where we really interact with the people that are at the conference and talk about educational outcomes and how those spaces affect students in their learning. By December, when we report out, we'll have information on how the conference registration is picked up, and hopefully with that November 9th wake-up that we'll all have, we'll really see a pickup in the registration that'll be, I'm assuming, ahead of years past. Like I said, we're going to be ready for it. Greg and his staff are doing a great job. It should be a fantastic conference, lots of excitement, lots of expectations for CASH. And as the incoming chair, I welcome those expectations. If I'm a constituent, I'm going to expect that CASH is doing their homework right now. We'll be on hit the ground running with implementation, right? How do we get these funds in school districts' hands as quick as possible to affect change for kids and teachers in our state? So that's what we're ready to do. Any questions about the conference? All right, thank you. Oh, that first golf tournament.
I almost said I should have asked about golf, but.
Make sure you attend the golf tournament if you're a golfer, or even if you're not, or that's okay.
Just sponsor a hole.
There you go.
Should have had Heather come up.
At the fall conference, she was all decked out in golf gear. It was really, really nice. Good marketing. All right, we'd like to welcome Anna Ferreira with, what's her acronym again?
School Energy Coalition.
SEC. School Energy and Water Acting.
Do you ever have like guest golfers at the golf
Guest
tournaments?
What do you mean guest golf?
Like
People who
super
don't
surprise guest who
Oh.
doesn't really know how to golf and be entertaining.
Are you saying you want to come to the golf tournament on? I know you are welcome.
Definitely be entertaining. Okay, just a quick, we've beaten legislation to death, so I, kind of don't want to raise that again. But just some quick events. SEC Fall Forum, November 10th. Steve Turner from Mendocino County is going to be our moderator and introduce our great guests, which will include Liz Sherrock from the Energy Commission, who'll be there to talk about recent changes to the Prop 39 program. It'll be the first get-together post-election, so we expect to have a lot of good, exciting things to talk about with regard to funding efficient school facilities. CEC has submitted their request for that extension I talked about last month. They're waiting to hear from the governor's office, and Rebecca and I were talking about this. It's something we really haven't seen before, so we're going to keep you posted on what we hear back from them about whether they are able to get that extended and what statute, vehicle they may be using to do that, because they will definitely need a bill. We'll also be talking about the new August 17th final deadline for energy expenditure plans, which I know is burned into your brains if you haven't submitted one already. And DSA will also be there. We'll have a state water conservation update from the water board. So if you want to join us, we would love to have you contacting Lean or I, and there's also pamphlets on the back. So remember, we have a new full year of funding directed at schools. This is the allocation they're making to the Clean Energy Jobs Fund, which was assigned $398.8 million for K-12 in the 16-17 year. This is the fourth allocation year of a 5-year program. Individual LEA allocations will be posted by the CDE. They have until October 30th, so it should be right around the corner. I did ask and have not heard back from them as of yet, but they do have that deadline of October 30th, which is right around the corner. So keep checking that CDE Prop 39 website to see what your allocation will be when they do post. Other energy and school news: I attended a New Buildings Institute Zero Net Energy conference in Denver. Much discussion about zero net energy for schools by the federal and state government. USDOE was there. They're trying to nudge schools forward to do the things that we've been saying all along that would be good in every community. But of course, we need funding to do that with. So in the interest of lowering greenhouse gas emissions, addressing climate change, we talked ad nauseum about, they talked about how great all the energy world was, going to be if we could get all the schools to zero net energy. And we just kept saying, great, now give us the money. So, here we go. They are offering technical assistance. I'm going to find out more. It's through their Better Building program at USDOE, and they have this Z&E accelerator that they're talking about, and we're going to be talking in the coming months, and I'll be sharing that information as we get it. Finally, Green School Summit is coming up in Pasadena. Is anybody going to that? Okay, good. We'll be hosting a workshop on meeting that new deadline under Prop 39, and there's also another one that Cash is hosting on zero net energy for schools, which we'll also be participating in. So that's all I have for now. Any questions about energy and water in schools? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anna. All right, we did a really quick meeting today. I think I get an award for that, right, Joe? All right, do we have any open jobs or, Kathy Allen?
Sac City Unified has a Director of Construction Management Services open. It's on our website and also at Join and on Cash.
Okay, so Sac City Unified, Director of
Construction
Management. So check their website. And then,
Copland River Public Finance has an opening in our San Marcos office, which is also on the Cash website for an analyst position.
all right, check the Cash website for our Copland River notice for a position. So. Anyone else? Good. I expect to see more activity once the bond is passed, and we know that there's workload waiting in the wings. So just one quick note. I know most of the people in the room. I think I saw you at the fall conference. But one of the things I was going to mention earlier, I wasn't sure how much time we had, but we did have a presentation from Tony Russo, who is on our campaign team, who is working on the strategies in terms of outreach and getting to the voters of California. And it was a very positive presentation. It gets into the science of what goes on in the political world with campaigns. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I can tell you that the people who were there, I'm sure left with a lot more confidence than maybe what we entered into at that meeting. So I want to say thanks to all the people who are working so hard on this. Is this our last membership? It is. See you after the election. Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.
We offline?